Coming up on this program, we show you how to get connected. Find out how to choose an internet service provider. Discover the newest form of communication, electronic mail.
Ways down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, and holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing, if you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a
Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. Cheers. Let's get this night started. I feel like corporate Paisley here. Honestly, I'm just cold, and this was the closest thing at hand. I hope everybody's doing well. Forgive my tardiness. You know I don't really care. But I hope that you are all well. I'm sorry that if some of you aren't feeling well, I know that's going around right now. I want you to make sure that you're resting and taking care of yourselves. That's the most important thing here. So, but I have to be honest, I have some bad news that we have to talk about before we get going tonight. Crisis slightly averted. I got home today. I grabbed this divorce. Hi, Nabel. Lurking is synonymous with gambling with Creed around here, and we don't judge. That's okay. No, but seriously, I got the divorce case. I thought to myself, oh shit. There's 3 fucking hours of misery ahead of us. This is terrible. Then, oh, Creed's done. Okay, well, I'm just joking. Then, I realized, oh my God, there's 2 of them, and it was 6 hours of this stupid divorce. I didn't even have time to download it. We're gonna have to watch this raw dog on the internet like fucking plebs. Hopefully Judge Kirkham's channel hovers between being monetized and not. We're not doing 6 hours today, by the way, but there is 6 hours of footage left. And we're gonna get started. But, so I just want you all to understand that. At first, I was so depressed about 3 hours, and then this divorce came and kicked me in the face with an extra 3 hours. And I'm not happy about it. He's losing or losing it. Did he manage to get through a stream today without crashing? Anyways, he did have class. Now he is not in class, and let's get us going. You know, as I recall, we were thinking about doing a full day the last time we talked about it, but I had repressed that memory. Losing money but no Creed frames, well, there's small miracles, I guess. Anyways, regardless, what I'm saying is, let's just get started. Do you hear that car? I don't know if you could hear that. That was very loud. I'm gonna hit play. Oh, I posted a new Amazon wish list. I don't know if it's actually working. The old one doesn't seem to work anymore. Amazon Daddy is not interested. Anyways, I made a new one. We'll see how it works. You're looking into the green screen world. Well, this is the judge's world, isn't it? Courtney, one day you'll get divorced. I believe in you. You know, one day we could get married and then divorced if you really want. Oh, also it's Friday, if anybody else forgot. I sort of did. It's Friday, January 3rd. Can you remind me that my dad's birthday is either the 23rd or the 30th. I'm not sure which. I'm gonna have to check. No, I am sure. It's always the 23rd. I always think it's not, but it is. We're gonna need to put that on a calendar, Judge. Could we get that on a status conference, please? Please, thank you.
Just a moment, Erica. I'll open the record, okay?
Thank you.
The 37th Circuit Court is now in session. The Honorable Brian K. Kirkin presiding. It is Friday, January 3rd, 2025 at 8:31 a.m.
Good morning, Miss Barrington. How are you?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Miss Barrington, why am I immediately reminded of the Berenstein Bears, Nigel? Tell me. Tell me why I am immediately thinking of the Berenstein Bears and all the lessons that I learned from those little bears. Shout out if you remember the Berenstein Bears. Shane, look at this. New member.
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Go ahead when you're ready.
Thank you. Before the court is John Nemore, docket 2015-1444 DP. Mr. Nemore failed to appear for a December 4th, 2024 adjourned bench warrant hearing before this court. Currently, his bond is set at $2,276. This is the 7th bench warrant. The last payment received was a cash payment on December 30th, 2024. $10.70 was applied to this docket. He reports no new employment. Friend of the court recommends that a reasonable bond be set in this matter and it be scheduled for hearing January 5th.
NPC, you're so sweet.
2025
Girl, I am speaking. That is so sweet of you. I love the gifting. Also, I'm just thinking of the Berenstein Bears. I'm so glad some of you know about it, and the Care Bears. Also, I'm so thankful for NPC. That is so sweet. Also, that guy just jump scared me. Like, over my shoulder. Sir, I've had a busy day and I did not need that. $10. Again, I'd like to remind everybody that in the state of Michigan, we've checked into this. There is in fact a bottle return for 10 cents per bottle or can, okay? Which means that you can hustle the fuck out of some money in Michigan. Just saying.
8:45 a.m.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Nemore, you're before the court charged with civil contempt of court due to your failure to appear at a prior proceeding as a result of your failure to pay child support. Purpose of this hearing is to set a bond that would assure your attendance at the next hearing on January 15, 2025 at 8:45 a.m. You will get notice of that in writing. Are you able to post a bond, sir?
Your Honor, I don't have a permanent job only because I'm remodeling my house due to DHS. I'm going through DHS to get custody of my kids.
No, sir. No. Oh my God! Are you fucking kidding? First of all, who the fuck hacked your hair away? Seriously, was it you? Was there a gum incident that happened with your fucking head? Secondly, do you hear what he said, you guys? Do you hear what he said? DHS has taken away his children, and he's unable to work because he has to renovate his house to get the kids back. I'm sorry, sir. Oh my God.
And I had nothing but intention to get a full-time job, but We did doing like rewiring, we did the walls, the kids' bedroom. I've been quite busy and it's hard to do with what money I got.
Excuse me, sir, I understand there's a lot of issues, but I asked you a real
But-
simple question. Are you able to post
Yeah.
them?
And I made a couple payments. If I, no, I'm not, Your Honor. And if you release me, I can make more payments. I won't be further behind. And the reason I missed my court date is because I don't stay at the house, and I'll fix that problem. I'll get a PO box, whatever it takes. But if I do jail time, I feel like, it's just gonna set me further back. I'm not gonna be able to make payments,
Okay.
and I
Well, what I'm
apologize.
gonna do is I'm gonna reduce your bond in this matter. You have obviously a sizable arrearage in this case. I'm gonna reduce the bond. I'm gonna set your bond in the amount of $500. If you're able to post that, you'd be able to be released. Do you have any questions?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you. You're free to go. Have a good day.
That's all for me.
Also, I was so fucking distracted there. What am I watching? Where's the divorce? What the fuck has happened? Paisley is all confused. Ugh.
Me, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Take care, Erica. We'll see you Wednesday.
See you Wednesday, Jesus. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, let's. All right, please unmute everybody.
Yes, Jesus, I'm
Okay,
here.
thank you for your patience. This is now case number 2024-1624 DM, Charlena Olapade versus Olabawale Olapade. It is Friday, January 3rd, 2025 at 8:34 a.m. Attorney Lisa McNiff for the plaintiff.
Good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Court will note this is a continuation of the trial commenced on December 3rd, 2024. At the time that we concluded, Ms. McNiff, you were still doing your direct examination of your client. And so, well, I assume you want to continue that.
I would, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Olapade, what we're going to do, I'll have you sworn in again. Just go ahead with that. So if you raise your right hand, please.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. McNiff.
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe that when we left off, we were going through credit card statements. And we are now looking at Exhibit 8, which is a Citibank credit card statement. Ms. Olapade, do you recognize that credit card statement that we've marked as Exhibit 8?
I do.
And it looks to me like the payment due date on that was January 16th of 2024. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the balance on that credit card at that time was $13,686.17.
Correct.
And has that changed significantly since January of 2024?
With the interest, no, about 2,000.
Is it
I mean,
up
it's
about
up
2,000 or down?
2,000.
Okay. And prior to, well, and I would move admission of Exhibit 8.
Okay. Mr. Olapade, any response to the offer of that exhibit?
Yeah, I have no objection.
Okay. Then plaintiff's exhibit number 8 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Do the statements for these credit card balances prior, were the balances prior to filing similar to the balances when you filed for divorce?
Yes, other than the interest that accrued.
Okay. And what caused all of those credit cards to have such high balances?
Well, I used that as the, additional, but my income was low, lower than Ola's. And like I said before,
Hold on,
Ola
ma'am.
would say,
I can't keep pausing it, but I'm gonna say something. First of all, thank you guys. You guys are so sweet. You make me feel so good. Secondly, as usual, it's a dress. not just a top. And thirdly, McNiff, I hate you. I apologize if you're watching for some reason. If you're watching and you're a fan, fucking email me. Let's talk. Let's talk. But other than that, I hate you. Do better. Please. Please do better. And you guys are so sweet.
Hey, what would you, do if you were single? So, I wasn't to ask for additional assistance with the kids' needs and all of their like school events and even transportation, gas, far as gas and you taking them back and forth to AAU and so all of their expenses. So I used it as my backup.
Did you pay any medical expenses?
Yes, yes, I did.
For you or for the children?
For me, as well as for the kids, sometimes their physicals were on there, or copay. So yeah, and then there was my medical expenses. I used it definitely for my medical expenses too.
Did the balances increase after you had cancer treatments?
Yes. And then yes, it did.
Okay. And did they increase because you had expenses associated with your surgery and with your aftercare?
Yes.
Did they increase because you weren't able to work while you were going through treatments?
While I was going through treatments, and the surgery, I had to be off. I was required to be off, and I was off work without pay. So I used the resource that I did have.
And while you
A credit card? Well, I guess it is a resource, as Paisley said. I don't know. I don't know, lady. Get a different. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. We need to hit play and stop talking today, or else we'll be here all night again.
were undergoing cancer treatment and surgery and you weren't working, did your husband ever offer help with the credit card bills?
No, or the medical bills, no.
And what would happen if you asked for him to help you?
I just didn't expect it at all because he didn't help with the kids' expenses. He knew that like when they went on their trips or things, he didn't offer to help.
And he didn't offer to help with any of the medical expenses that you incurred as a result of having cancer?
No, he did not.
Are you able to pay down the principal balances of these credit cards in your current situation?
No, not at this time.
Are you able to make the interest payments right now?
No.
And what are you, how much are you paying currently? Are you just paying minimum payments?
At this time, I can't even pay the minimum payment.
Are you behind currently on the credit
Yes, I
cards?
am.
Do you know how far behind you are?
I'm behind at least. I think that was about 6 months.
Okay. Are you getting creditors calling you?
Yes.
And would having your husband be responsible for half of the debt on those credit cards assist you financially?
Yes, it would.
What would it mean in terms of your ability to live, to have him assist with those credit card debts?
To live.
Yeah, to make ends meet financially.
It would help. It would definitely help me get on my feet so that I can also, I need transportation. So there's other expenses that I have to get on my feet.
And what does it do to you emotionally to have the creditors calling you?
It's not good. I've had great credit. Matter of fact, they asked me, they said something major had to happen because you've had credit,
Objection,
good
hearsay!
credit for years.
Stop it!
And I explained to them my situation, what happened, and they understood.
Have you been able to make any kind of arrangements with any of the credit card companies?
I have spoken with, well, they have offered to help with the lower the amount so that I can start making arrangements with them.
Lower the minimum payment?
The minimum payment. It's like emergency. I think it's like a financial hardship. That's what they call it, a hardship.
Okay. And are you able to make those payments with the accommodations?
Not at this time.
I'd like to turn to Exhibit 9 next in your book. Can you tell me what this is?
This is a ASR health benefit it's a breakdown for the new insurance that that our family had. Ola had switched over, the college had switched over to this, but Ola has selected a higher deductible amount, which originally he told me he was going to cancel it when I had cancer, and that was before I even had surgery. He told me that he would cancel the insurance. He threatened me a couple of times, and one time he said that in front of our youngest son. And as I went upstairs and didn't respond to it, he told my youngest son, Akeem, don't worry, I'm not going to cancel the insurance. I'm just saying that to scare her. And but he did change it to where I had to have a higher deductible, and that was before my surgery.
Now, if we look down, if you looked on that page towards the bottom of the page, it says claim number and
Yes.
comment. And it indicates that there's a deductible, 2024 deductible to be satisfied.
Yes,
And what's that number?
$3,702.72. And I believe that's the balance of, at this time, it was 4,000 is the actual deductible that I have to pay out of pocket before
And-
the insurance kicked
And
in.
that statement date was on April 8th of 2024, if you look up at the top. Right under the address.
Yeah, statement date 4/8/2024.
So that was that $3,702 was what was owed on the deductible in April of last year.
Correct.
And if we look at the next page, are these charges that you have had to pay for your medical care in 2024?
Let's just say the patient owes. Yeah, in the patient owes column.
Okay. And so these are just for you, or are these also for your husband and for the children?
Let's see, 2/17 dates of service. Without having that 2/17, without having the actual bill itself in front of me. Okay, wait a minute, hold on, no check. Yeah, because this one, on this particular bill, it doesn't say at the bottom, but the next one,
The second
it'll
page?
tell you. Yeah, Ella M. Brown Charitable. So, but many of the expenses as far as doctors and stuff was me or the kids.
Okay.
Ola had a few, but
And if you keep going and looking through these bills, at a certain point, it changes from being addressed to, well, it says employee name, but then these are addressed to you on the left-hand side.
yes, they are addressed to me.
Okay.
Yes. And so that would be that those bills pertain to me. And like even on the third one, it says radiology consultant. That's me.
And if you keep going,
Yes,
there's one in May, it looks like, to Oakland Hospital.
yes.
And then if you keep going, we go past the bills, and there's the statements from the insurance company, and it looks like there's a debt collection notice
Borges,
from
yes,
AMCOL Systems.
yes.
Do you know what this is for?
Oh. Borges Hospital, probably this is blood work for the Graves' disease.
Okay.
This is as of you, okay. 2/17/20. Yeah, this had to be with Borges, it would have to be my Graves' disease doctors.
Okay. And that was,
Appointment.
that date is February 21st of 2024.
Yes,
So was that incurred prior to filing the complaint for divorce?
yes,
And then we have, after that, an Ascension Borges Hospital bill.
yes,
And do you recognize that?
yes,
And who was that for?
myself.
And that amount was due as well of 6158.
Yes, I think I ended up sending the payment on the 22nd of 2024, but it was, yes,
And then if you keep going, it looks like there are prescription.
that's correct.
And are those prescriptions for you?
Yes,
And there's receipts for the prescriptions that you paid, it looks like.
yes, that's correct. Nothing is all, these are mine.
And if we continue.
Sashina, I'm sorry you're having a rough time, my friend. But I'm so thankful for your support. 13 months. Always amazing. McNiff, on the other hand, literally ruining my Friday night. Lisa, like, get with the fucking program, dude. I'm already fast forwarding it a little bit. Not fast forwarding it. I'm doing 1.25 speed. But still, it's still dry as fuck.
You through after the prescriptions and after those receipts, there's an email from your husband.
Yes.
And tell me about what this email is. And
So this was October 10th, 2023. He had let me know at that time that they were planning to change the health insurance for Albion College. And so he was asking me about the insurance plan. And so I had verbally told him, and then my mother had verbally told him.
don't tell me what your mom said. Just
Okay.
tell me
Well,
what you
verbally
said.
told him that, you know, the PPO plan where we pay a copay is the best way to go about paying the medical bills.
And it looks like he's asking you about that. So
Yes.
this email dated Tuesday, October 10th, 2023. He says, FYI, so I know which one will be better for you and the kids between the PPO and the HDHP as we move forward.
Yes, he was asking me about it because the colleges will have a meeting with the staff members so they can tell them what about the benefits, the new benefit plans, and what they were changing over to.
And
Excuse me, Ms. McNiff. In the stuff that you provide, I have no email from the defendant, so if you could enlighten me where it is, that would be helpful.
I can, Your Honor. It is 1, 2.
I've got the one that says update, part of it is update of Albion College 2024.
That's it.
That's it, Your Honor. If you
Right
look right underneath where it says one message, it says Ola Alapide to Charlena Alapide.
Oh, I've got, okay.
So it's him forwarding the email from the college.
Got it. Okay, thanks. I thought there was a separate one.
It's little and kind of hidden up there. So, Mrs. Alapide, what did you suggest to your husband would be the best plan?
The PPO where we make you know, the copays as we go, so it wouldn't be so expensive all at once.
And did he elect to take that one?
No, he elected not to. And like I said, he had told me a couple of times, threatened to take the insurance away from me.
And did he tell you why he elected to take the more expensive one rather than the PPO?
He was punishing me. He was angry with me about regarding the
Your Honor, can I object?
Sir, what are you objecting to?
I want her to show the response to my email. I emailed her. She should show the court the response.
Well, you'll
She
have
never
an
responded.
Okay, you'll have an opportunity when you testify.
Well, that's actually a valid objection to the admittance of the document. I don't know if they already admitted this or what, but he could, I think, object to it not being entered in its entirety and demand that it be such. That's an objection I've heard before. It's oftentimes in conversations where, you know, somebody says, well, what about the rest of the conversation? That's not really appropriate to just enter this little bit. Now, the judge is certainly paying attention because, optional completeness. The judge is certainly paying attention because he was thinking he didn't necessarily have that email. So I always, you know, we make the joke that he's Judge Wordle, but he's always paying attention. And I do agree that if he had hired an attorney, it would be a better place. He should have hired an attorney, absolutely, especially considering he makes decent money. He's a tenured professor, in case you're just tuning in for the first time. I did not link them. That was a fail. But there are 2 other case parts of this case already. And so, you know, he should have hired an attorney, absolutely. But hopefully we're about to see his cross-examination. But I believe that it's a fair thing what he should do is write it down, and upon cross-examination, he should make her read the rest of the email. And that's probably what should be done.
To bring in that other response, if in fact it was disclosed appropriately, but It's not objectionable, is what she's saying, what the two of you talked about.
We didn't talk. I emailed, I never got a response. That's what I'm saying. It was an email, I never got a response. She should show the court the response to that email.
Okay, and I'm saying they don't have that here. You can produce that response at the time that you testify.
There was
to show
not,
what?
there was none. There was no response. That's what I'm saying.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
There was no response. I never had back until I saw it in the evidence list, my email. She
Okay.
never responded.
Okay, when you testify, you can testify that you didn't respond then. That's not a basis to interrupt the testimony, so go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would move for the admission of Exhibit 9, which are the medical bills and the information regarding the party's 2024 health insurance plan.
Mr. Lapide, do you have any objection to exhibit number 9?
I've already stated my objection that the evidence, the exhibit is not completed. Never got a response from that email.
Well, the
Apart from
court will admit it at this particular time, subject to your objection, if you can bring that in a later time.
All right.
Mrs. Olapide, did you respond via email to your husband or in some other way regarding the health insurance?
I did not respond via email. I responded verbally.
And did you have a long discussion or a short discussion regarding the type of insurance plan you thought would be best for the family?
It wasn't a long, lengthy discussion. It was a short discussion.
And how did your husband respond to your request to have the preferred provider type of insurance plan?
He responded a couple of times with threatening me throughout, once after my diagnosis, to cancel the insurance.
So did he respond directly to your request for one plan versus the other plan?
Not to me, but to my mother, he responded.
Okay, and we can't, unless you heard that conversation, you can say what your husband said, but not what your mom told you about the conversation. Did you overhear the conversation between your mom and your husband?
No.
Okay, then we can't talk about that. So I'd like you to move on to Exhibit 10. Now, is Exhibit 10, are these bills that you've received since you filed for divorce from your husband?
Yes.
And are you still under the same plan, or were you up until the end of 2024 that you were when you filed for divorce?
We're still under the ASR
Okay,
plan.
and that is the one that has the higher deductible?
Correct.
Okay, and the first one indicates that it's from the West Michigan Cancer Center.
Correct.
Do you have ongoing care or checkups?
Yes, I do every 3 months.
And if you turn to the next document, it's a message from your provider. Is that also a bill?
Yes.
And is that also from the West Michigan Cancer Center?
This is outpatient evaluation. Yes, it is.
And then the next page is that a bill from Oaklawn?
That's correct. This is blood work.
Okay, and that occurred also after you filed for divorce?
Let's see. This one here is I believe that this was in February. This happened before.
Okay.
This one happened before.
And
But the following one, a local line, the 812, those were additional blood work that I needed drawn.
And if you keep going, there's another statement from the Health Insurance Network. Does that indicate what your portion of those bills are?
Yeah, there's portions that says patient may owe.
Okay. And the next one is also a statement from the health insurance company?
That's correct.
And that also indicates your portion of the bills?
Yes.
And the next one is the same?
Yes.
And if we keep going, the next two are also statements from the health insurance company.
Yes, it is.
And then we have more prescription information
Yes.
and the receipts that go with those prescriptions.
Yes.
And if we just keep going, do you recognize all of those prescriptions?
Yes, I do.
Were all of those prescriptions for you?
Yes, they were.
And all of those receipts were paid by you?
Yes.
And were you able to pay with cash for those prescriptions, or do you know whether you had to put them on a credit card?
Some of them with cash, some of them in 2023 on the card.
Okay. I would move for admission of Exhibit 10.
Mr. Lapide, any response to exhibit 10?
No objection.
Okay, plaintiff exhibit 10 will be admitted.
Okay, and now we'll turn to Exhibit 11. And what is this first email?
This email is in regards to the confirmation of registration for Akin, our minors band trip that they perform in Orlando, Florida, and they go through a a camp as well while they're down there.
Okay, and that's dated Friday, January 13th of 2023.
Correct.
And the second page says, thank you for your payment.
Yes,
And it indicates under payment summary that you paid $361.53 using a MasterCard.
yes, you have to pay with the card.
And it also indicates that the cost breakdown for your son was $2,149 for the trip under the trip
Yes,
summary.
yes.
Was that the total, if you recall?
Let's see, I believe so, because they broke the payments down and you paid every other month and take it off your credit card.
And did your husband help you pay?
How long were you in Orlando? Because that's fucking a lot of money. USD. That sounds like a scam. Like, oh, but the band's going, so you have to go via the band group, and that means you have to pay $2,000. Listen, if you told me that you were going to Europe and had to pay $2,000, I'd be like, yeah. But going to fucking Orlando from Michigan? I'm sorry, what? What? Make that make sense, bruh.
Pay for that at all?
No,
And if we move on, there's a credit card statement that's dated, the payment due date on that is March 16th of 2023.
correct.
And is that the card that you were using to pay for your son's trip?
Yes, yes, because at the bottom, it in the transactions, it tell you what they took out.
Now, did you regularly, and so when it says trip, GRCOLL, St. August, looks like St. August.
Hold the phone. NPC with a Vicky telling us the reality. And NPC, what in the heck? Coming through with an amazing Megaluya peepee. And MB. Oh, it's both of you guys. You guys together have made my night. Oh my gosh. First of all, thank you to MB and to NPC. You guys are amazing. Hold on, I can hit the thank you. I can do it without Streamlabs. Oh, you guys. Hallelujah. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much. And also welcome if you're rating. That's so awesome. KTZ. I love the way you spell your name. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We're in the middle of a terrible divorce. There's 3 parts, but believe me, you're not missing much. Just keep going with us because it's worth it to do it with friends, but probably a little less so alone. And thank you again for MB and NPC. I appreciate the support. Let's continue on with this because we'll be here all night. We have 6 hours. We're not doing all 6 tonight, but we're going to get a chunk into it.
In Florida, were those payments for that trip?
Correct.
And then the next page is another email confirming a payment.
Correct.
Is that same trip?
Yes,
Okay. And then there's another part of that email. If we keep going, there's another credit card statement.
yes,
Is that another confirmation of those payments you were making?
yes, it is.
And the next one is another payment confirmation email.
Correct.
And then there's another credit card statement.
Yes,
And that does that also show another payment to that trip?
yes, it does on 3/15.
And then there's another email with the payment confirmation
Yes, it is.
and another credit card statement with showing the payment.
Yes,
And if we keep going, you continue with several of those.
yes,
Did you include all of your payments in this exhibit?
yes,
And did you pay the entire amount by yourself?
yes, I did.
And I do believe that's the entire, I'm not going to go through the entire exhibit. I would ask for the admission of Exhibit 11, which are all of the payment confirmations and the credit card statements showing the payments for Akeen's trip.
Okay, Mr. Lapide, what's your response?
No, no objection, Your Honor.
Okay, court will admit the plaintiff's Exhibit 11.
Okay. And let's look at Exhibit 12. Can you tell me what this is?
This is for IO's New York band trip.
And Io is your adult child, correct?
He's an adult now.
Okay, and this trip took place in 2021 or 2022?
I believe that 21, let's see, we started paying it on June. Let's see, payment receipt, June 21. So I think it was 22 is when he went.
So for most of these trips, did you pay over a year?
Yes, yeah, they usually plan in advance.
And is this similar to the last exhibit where you're showing receipts for the payments?
Yes,
And then you're showing credit card statements that show the payments you made?
correct.
And does this exhibit indicate all of the payments that you made for your son Io's trip to New York with the Marshall High School band?
Yes, that's correct.
And did your husband assist you with any of those payments?
No,
And it looks like the total trip for cost for that one was, I think if we flip
1,000.
towards the
Why can't I move the mouse? Oh, I know why. Anyways, I was just gonna say the only thing getting me through this is this weed. And it is Liquid Imagination, and it's 29.1% THC. Thank God. Seriously, thank fucking God. Because this is painful. That's all I'll say.
back, it might show the entire amount.
I know it started out at $1,365.
Oh, okay. So if on the very first page, it says paid so far 290 and then a slash mark 1,365.
Correct. Each receipt will show what's paid for out of the balance.
And you paid for that entire trip on a credit card?
Yes.
And so I would ask for the admission of Exhibit 12.
Okay, Mr. Lapide, any response to the offer of Exhibit 12?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, Exhibit 12 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. And then there's Exhibit 13. And this one, this is an email dated 2019.
Yes, it is.
And is this another school trip?
Yes, this was IO's Florida band trip.
Okay.
So, you know, every other year, I think it's what their band director, Mr. Root, they had scheduled these trips every other year.
And this one indicates towards the bottom of the email that the estimated cost was $1,479, and it has a payment schedule under that.
Correct.
Now, was this the same setup you paid over about a year?
Yes.
And you also included in this exhibit copies of your payment confirmations?
Yes.
And I am not seeing the credit card statements for this one. But there are the confirmation emails.
Yes.
Did you pay? Do you recall? Did you make all of the payments for this trip?
Yes, I did. It's
Right.
when
And I'm sorry, there is a Blue Ox Visa towards the end of the exhibit that shows. So you were paying this trip on a different card, or were you using various cards?
see what it blew up.
You go to the very end of the exhibit.
I'm 36. I'm turning 37. My birthday's in March.
I can't. I this one says Blue Ox, so it might have been one payment starting on this one, and then used my other credit card
Okay.
so
But-
that it can come regularly. You know.
Was this similar to the other trips that you
Yes.
paid for the entire thing using credit cards?
Yes.
I would move admission of Exhibit 13.
Okay, Mr. Lapide, any response?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay.
Ma'am, get a
Plaintiff's Exhibit
job.
13 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. And let's go to number 14. Can you tell me what this is?
This is IO's trip to Dublin, London, Paris school trip.
Okay. And this one indicates total charges of $3,974. If you look towards in bold.
Yes. Mhm.
And total payments of $3,974.
Yes.
And this looks like it took place in 2019.
Correct.
Okay.
That's true. Yes.
And these are the exhibit has the statements. Is that accurate? And
Yes.
the payments,
Yes.
it indicates where you paid those. And again, did your husband help at all with that expense?
No.
And did you pay for all of that trip on your credit cards?
Yes.
I'd move for admission of Exhibit 14.
Okay, Mr. Lapide,
No objection, Your Honor.
plaintiff's exhibit 14 will be admitted.
Thank you.
Thank you, KTZ, for the raid. Welcome, by the way. We are in the middle of a horrendous divorce. If you're new here, I think the raid worked. I'm terrible at watching. I got like 50,000 things going on right now, including just Friday night and this terrible divorce. We're waiting for his cross exam, which is coming up soon, but Lisa McSniff up here is really testing our patience. But thank you so much for being here and subscribing in the raid. I really appreciate it. Also, these kids are fucking spoiled. Like, if you want, I remember going on trips. I remember doing all that. You have to grind for that. You have to, like, work at it. You know what I mean? So, and that goes for mama, too. If you want to provide that for your kid without them worrying about it, I don't think it's appropriate to just stick it on a credit card for 3 or 4 years. I'm sorry. Like, that's just not, I mean, I don't know. Am I wrong on that? I really don't understand.
Now we're moving to Exhibit 15. And can you tell me what Exhibit 15 is?
Exhibit 15 is my payment, like pay stub history from working with Mackie. We're actually working, I was working through Excel and assigned to Mackie.
Okay. And that shows all of the payments that you were made while you were working for them?
Correct.
And so that's approximately what you were able to earn during that period of time?
Yes.
And did you have any other source of income during that period of time that you worked for them?
No.
And is that a reasonable and accurate expectation of what you were able to earn?
This is what I was, the maximum. We started out, I think, at $14 and it ended up with $16 an hour once, at the end of my assignment.
Okay. And I would move for admission of Exhibit 15.
Okay, Mr. Lapide, any response?
My response is she has a master's and she should be getting paid more. $16 an hour for a master's degree, lady? Come on. Come on.
Response.
No objection, Your Honor.
Plaintiff's exhibit 15 will be admitted, there being no objection.
Thank you. Mrs. Lapide, we talked about your Graves' disease and your cancer diagnosis before. What it currently is the status of your diabetes diagnosis?
The diabetes, I'm almost at pre-diabetes state. So that was my most recent appointment status. So that's going down, which is good.
And what's the status of your Graves' disease? Is that in remission?
It's not in remission yet. And she wants me to go through some more blood work. But it had decreased from 2023, fall of 2023. And that was the comparison that she had from August. She compared to November and she said it's not out of remission.
And are you still taking medication?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And do you have any heart problems?
I was having issues with heart populations. They had me go through some stress tests. I did get my blood pressure medicine was increased. The type of medicine I had to take had been increased.
Did that increase the expense?
It's about the same as far as price wise. I know with this new insurance, we were supposed to have, they give us a medical expense, a credit card, but Ola has that. So I pay for my medicine out of pocket.
Oh, so he wouldn't give you the prescription card?
Oh, he gave it to me, but after I left, I don't have that. So he has it, but I pay out of pocket.
And when you say you don't have it, you don't have the coverage or you don't have the card?
You have to have the card to use it.
Okay. And did you ask him for the card?
No, I did not.
Did you ask him for a copy of the card?
No, I did not.
And he didn't offer?
Are you fucking stupid? This is a joke. That's just negligent. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. Get the card. She didn't even ask.
No, he did not.
When you and your husband were living together, let's talk about your standard of living. Did you have nice cars when you were together?
Far as the household, Ola drove, say, since I've had the van, we got the van, when I was pregnant with Akeem. He's had a two Mercedes and now a Range Rover. And then,
And do you know what year the Range Rover is?
ooh, I don't know. I don't know exactly. He purchased it
The 2020.
the same
Okay.
week.
Sir, hold on. Don't interrupt. You can testify when it's your time.
Sorry, Your Honor.
You don't
Yes.
need to interject.
Yeah, he purchased it the same week that I moved out.
Okay. And did he trade another car in for that?
Yes, he traded the Mercedes, like it's like a SUV type.
Okay. And your car is 19 years old?
It's a 2006 Honda Odyssey
Okay.
van.
And when you were together, did you go on vacations together?
Yes, we did. We early on, his siblings had married in Nigeria. We went to Nigeria. We did go on a cruise when our king was about 4. And then the kids did AAU, so we traveled. So yes, we traveled to their competitions, and then we also used the van and travel for his research.
Are you able to go on vacations now?
No.
And are you aware of whether or not your husband goes on vacation still?
Oh yes, he goes on, like he said, for his Colombia, the recent Colombia trip, and he said it was his spring break trip. So he goes on not just for research, but he goes on trips by himself. It's been years since we went, as you know.
And if your son Akeem needs to go on a school trip now, would you be able to afford to pay for
No.
it? When you were together, I want to talk about the contributions that you both made to your marital estate. Who primarily cared for the children?
I did.
And what other things do you believe that you did to help the marital estate, to help your household?
While I worked, I make sure all the kids' activities, all the things that parents have to volunteer, cook for, donate, take to these events. I get up early in the morning and take them for their AAU on Saturdays, and many of their school events, their schoolwork, the household needs, even a lot of the things, that supplies in the house. I made sure that everybody was taken care of.
Did you purchase groceries?
Yes, I purchased groceries.
Did you purchase the kids' clothing?
Yes, I did.
Did you purchase birthday gifts and Christmas gifts for the
I
children?
had to make birthdays happen, Christmas happen.
Did the children play musical instruments?
Yes, they did. They played the clarinet and the horn, trumpet. Yes, all of those.
Who paid for those instruments?
I paid for the instruments. I paid for the tune-ups for them.
Did the children have fees and uniforms for athletic involvement?
Yes, they did.
Who paid for the fees and the uniforms?
Majority myself.
And were there?
With his credit card. Also, I forgot to eat all day. I just reflected on my day and realized I have not eaten a single thing. So, I'm doing that.
And you've already talked about the trip expenses. Were there any other activities besides sports and the trips and that the kids had?
Pictures, they're like getting prepared for graduations, their graduation ceremony packet, with their invitations and announcements, and any lunch, all their lunch. He said that they could pack a lunch, and I'm like, I said they need hot meals too, and I'm working, and I was expected to cook them a hot meal. I couldn't do that, so I pay for their lunches, and we had to pay full amount because of our income.
Okay.
So I had to pay every 2 weeks. It was like $90 every 2 weeks, and I usually pay cash for that so that they could submit it.
And there were times, I think you testified, when you were paying for the health insurance for the family.
Yes.
And do you have any idea, like how many years you did that?
Since here in Michigan, I did that while I was working with Community Action, and also, so 2016, I think that was the last when we stopped having insurance for a while, and that's why I used my credit card.
Okay, and then when you didn't have insurance, who paid for the health expenses for the kids?
Myself, and except for that incident where Akeem had fell off his bike.
I don't think it can be about the kids, because the oldest or the youngest kid's like 16. Bitch, you waited too late. I'm sorry, I'm such a bitch. This granola bar is not kicked in yet. Like, why are you bitching about 2019 shit now? 5 years later. 6 years later.
Okay. And who generally paid for the co-pays and insurance deductibles for the kids when you had insurance?
Me.
Did you have childcare for the kids?
Yes.
And who paid for that?
Well, when we were in Wisconsin, they took it that was part of my pay. But when we got here in Michigan, I was paying for it
Who paid for the kids' haircuts?
myself.
Who paid for their sixth grade camp?
Me.
Did you help with utility bills?
Yes, Simco bills. There was a gas. I paid for the gas, but I also paid the household expenses, the groceries, the toiletries, anything that house needed, on top of my personal expenses. And
Did you help pay mortgage payments for either the Ohio house or the Michigan house?
the Ohio house, when we were in Wisconsin, again, we were taking care of 3 different residents at the time. So it needed both of our incomes to do that.
Who paid for your car expenses like repairs, maintenance?
Myself,
Who paid for your student loans?
me,
And who paid for your credit card?
me.
Who purchased your household furniture?
Um, I did one of the bedroom sets and the dining room set, the buffet, and which he has. But and then a lot of the furniture myself, I paid for the downstairs and the sitting room set. I paid for those
Okay. What about kitchenware like pots and pans and
myself.
what about decorations like pictures and
Decorations as well. I decorated the house.
lamps, tables?
Lamps, tables, wall art. Ola did when we needed to update the living room couch. Without, he just went out and purchased a set that he liked, and then he said it was for a gift from me, but it wasn't. I wasn't involved in that decision.
Who primarily cleaned the house?
Myself and the kids. I mean, we had them chores.
Who primarily cooked for the family?
I did. Ola would cook the Nigerian soups I didn't know how to make, but there are some Nigerian dishes that I cooked. And so, working, come home to cook. He did complain about my cooking, but then he would ask me, what am I cooking? So it was just.
Who did the lawn care?
We had the kids help out with the lawn care, but I did a lot of the raking. There was a couple of times he came out to help with rake, but he never helped me complete those projects. I'd had the kids help me, but I would be out there raking. And we had a big yard with a lot of leaves.
And who took care of the repairs and the maintenance for the home?
There's
Like if you needed a plumber or you needed an
I
electrician.
would find people that we could try to find a reasonable price, but that came out of the homestead account.
And so that was a joint account.
That was a joint account.
And how was that mainly funded?
Well, Ola had the homestead. We had our tax returns and our house in Ohio that we rented out, that we had to rent out. That income was deposited in there, and then Ola's salary.
Now we've discussed some specific instances of abuse from your husband, but can you tell me in general how your husband treated you through the marriage?
It was rocky throughout the marriage. I just felt like I was single. And married but single. And then, like I said, he would remind me. He would say, what would you do if you were single? So, and I told him I'm not single.
What do you believe caused the breakdown of your marriage? What do you believe one or the other of you was at fault for the breaking down the marriage?
I tried. I told him we should, like I said, maybe read, go talk to the pastor, read like the book Love Language. I got both of us the book. But everything is my fault. So
do you believe it was your fault?
No.
Do you believe that your husband's at fault for the breakdown of the marriage?
Yes, the abuse, the verbal abuse, the physical abuse just started escalating. But the verbal abuse,
Mr. Pole, 5 months. Happy New Year to you too. And here's the thing. She's complaining about like something she didn't do anything about for a long time. And I understand sometimes people that are in abusive relationships and situations are, paralyzed, stuck, blah, 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 blah. She is difficult to sympathize with, even though she has very sympathetic story going on with her medical diagnosis, etc. Billy, 12 months. That's a whole fucking year. Ah! Oh my goodness, oh my gracious. NPC, amazing! 5 more members. We will have members only this weekend on Sunday. William, our friend, got one. NPC, look at you giving and giving. I so appreciate it. Seriously, I understand, you know, like I was saying, I understand, but this case is very frustrating to listen to. Reminder, we have it on 1.25. Imagine if we were listening to this at 1 speed. Ah! 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 I know, don't blame. I don't want to blame. I guess I'm a single mom. I understand what it's like to have to pay for things for your kids, to have to work at it, but I also never had a credit card that I could just put it on. Like, that sounds good to me, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little hard to put myself in somebody else's shoes like that. When I need something for my family, I go get a different job, or I work, you know what I mean? You know? You know. You know. You do game night? Oh, that's so fun. We used to do that. We used to do hangman night sometimes. We've done music bingo, like, type things, sort of music trivia, which is tough with, you know, YouTube Daddy. Mostly every Sunday we do Court Watchers Anonymous meeting, where we mostly hang out and watch court. But we do different things, and I'm always open to suggestions. But as I've just said, I've been busy this holiday season hustling and earning money to, you know, pay for the things my kid needs. And I understand when you're sick, etc. But not like for, you know, the past 5 years. She wasn't sick the whole time. She got sick in 2023. That's my issue here.
You know, punishments, the false accusations, the, you know, paranoia, it's accumulated. It just seemed it got worse and worse and worse. And then when Ayo left, it was just really like a breakdown, and I was at fault for him leaving it. That's what Ola claimed, that I was at fault for him leaving, and I was not at fault.
For your son leaving?
For Ayo, our middle child, leaving.
Did your husband ever celebrate your birthday?
There was one time where he had talked, and it was actually, no, it wasn't even a birthday. That was anniversary. But no.
Did he buy you gifts or a card?
He told me that he didn't know how to buy gifts, and then he would try here and there. Every once in a while, he would like buy flowers. If we were out the grocery store together, he'll buy all these flowers. I think that was a few occasions. And when he went on these trips, he would bring something back.
Did he buy you Christmas gifts?
No, he would ask me what I want for Christmas. If I tell him, like I told him I wanted a family photo in 2015, he said that he would do that. And then when the time came for the appointment, he said he wasn't going. I made him mad. I still don't know what I did to make him upset. And we never got the picture. So you just learn not to ask for anything, because you'll get hurt.
Did you purchase him gifts or cards for his birthday?
Yes, I did.
For Christmas?
Yes, I brought, I would buy him things, sweaters. Even for his 50th birthday, I brought him a nice grill, charcoal grill. Yes, I would, and be very thoughtful with the gifts. I mean, very unique things that he could use. But yes, I would still, even after the abuse and the treatment, I still think of,
okay.
You know.
Have you been sexually faithful during your marriage?
Yes, I have.
Are you still faithful to your marriage?
Yes, I am.
Are you currently, I know you share custody of your youngest child, Akeem. Is that correct?
Yes.
And he's with you on an alternating week basis?
Yes, he is.
And then who else lives with you?
Ayo.
And are you responsible for supporting Akeem?
Am I responsible?
Correct.
Yes, I'm responsible for Akeem.
And do you assist Ayo?
Yes, I'm assisting him to get him back on his feet.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Okay. Mr. Olapide, this is your opportunity to ask the plaintiff any questions.
Okay, I'm going to slow it back down to regular speed, because thank you, Jesus. Whew. Maybe it's cathartic, but I think that therapy would have been cheaper, MB, even at a high rate rather than the attorney's fee, you know? I really feel like you would be better off at doing that. And KTZ, absolutely, we should definitely chat. I will check it out later. And thank you, Cellulite Yoga Pants, for popping my email in the chat. I am terrible at it, but once in a while I do check my email. It's amazing. Also, charcoal grill is unique for the guy who doesn't like to cook. I'm confused. I wanted to hear about her super unique gifts. I would love to hear about your super unique gifts in the chat while we start to listen to this cross-examination. Remember, he is pro se, representing himself against my advice, but he can't hear that, of course, and it's not legal advice. Of course. Did you hear that, YouTube Daddy? Not legal advice.
Questions you wish to.
Thank you, Your Honor. Happy New Year, Shalina and Attorney McNeef, and Your Honor. Shalina, I feel pain with a lot of things you've expressed, and which most of them are not new to me. And I just want to ask you a couple of questions based on what we started from the trial on December 3rd. The first thing has to do with the financial of the family. I want to get your opinion regarding banking. You kept referring to the Homestead account. What is your view of a shared or joint account? What do you define as a joint account? I know Attorney McNeef just asked you about that. How will you explain a joint account?
A joint account, it has account that has funds that belong to both of us that's deposited into the account. Our taxes, we have had joint account since we moved here in 2006, and on our routing statements for all of our taxes from that point until taxes for 2023 has our taxes deposited into that account, as well as the rental property in Ohio that I set up so that we can, rent out the house in Ohio, which we end up selling in 22. Was that 22?
Last year, 2023.
We didn't sell it in 2023, did we?
It was 2023 March.
I think that was 2022.
This is more of a conversation.
But anyway,
Yeah.
it's that all of that those funds went into that account. Ola.
So, okay, when we get our tax return, is it your position that you do not get half of the tax return? Immediately we get a tax return, I will give you half of, what we get back from federal and state.
I had to ask you for that money because of the
Do you get it or not? Yes or no?
of the van. I had to request it. It wasn't something you gave me.
Every year, I always give you half of the
It
tax
was
return.
not every year.
All right. All right. Based on the house in Ohio, is it your position?
I apologize for interrupting, but my understanding is we have a witness available who's a police officer.
Okay.
And
Mr. Alapade, what she's asking for is to take a witness out of order. Do you have any problem with that?
No, at all. Not at all.
Okay, what we'll do, we'll resume. You'll get an opportunity to cross-examine the plaintiff, but we'll take the officer so that we don't have to delay taking him. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, I'll just quickly pee why the police officer has been signing. I've been drinking coffee since 6 a.m. I don't need to stop. I will just
We'll take a 5-minute recess.
No, I don't want to recess, Your Honor. I don't want to disturb the court. I will wait.
Okay, are you asking for a recess or not?
I don't want. I thought maybe by the time the policeman is signing, I would have come back. It will take me less than 1 minute.
Well, let's take 5 minutes. We'll get the police officer in and then we'll start.
thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll pause here for 5. I'm gonna put you guys back in the waiting, okay?
Thank you.
So are we gonna hear him piss? Oh, you put him in the waiting room. I thought we were gonna hear him piss. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's crazy. Let me fast forward it for our sanity. Seriously, what a freaking nutty case. And I get it.
One moment.
No, I don't know if I do. Actually, I don't know. But I love that
Okay,
he told
one
him
moment.
it would only take him a minute to piss. Yeah, why a cop? Which cop? What's going on? It's about his arrest. Remember, he was arrested, I think, allegedly.
Please. And we will be back on the record. Okay, one moment here. Mr. Morgan will get us back on the record. Okay, we are back on the record.
Okay. Officer Morgan, we're going to take some testimony from you, so if you would raise your right hand, we'll have you sworn in and then proceed.
Okay,
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Go ahead, Ms. McNiff.
Thank you. Officer Morgan, where do you work?
Albion Department of Public Safety.
And what do you do there?
I am a sergeant patrol.
How long have you been there?
Roughly 7 years.
And are you familiar with Mr. and Mrs. Alapade?
Yes.
And did you have the occasion to meet them on May 12th of 2021?
Yep, that's correct.
And what were the circumstances of you meeting them?
Charlene had come into the station regarding a domestic assault that she reported.
And what did she report?
She reported that her husband, and excuse me, I'm not gonna mess his name up. I think she called him Ola, had struck her in the back of the head with a closed fist.
And did you do any investigation by talking to the parties?
I did. Yep, I ended up locating him later on. I spoke with him. He indicated to me that he did not recall exactly what occurred. However, there was a struggle with a phone, a physical struggle, and that was all that he remembered. He was then arrested and lodged for domestic violence at the Calhoun County Jail.
And did Mrs. Alapade indicate whether she wanted charges to be pressed against her husband?
If I recall, at the time she did not.
Okay, and do you recall if whether she told you why not?
I do not recall that.
And do you recall whether or not she seemed to be injured, whether she complained of any pain?
She had made complaints of her head hurting, and she was kind of holding the back of her head neck area during the conversation that I had with her at her station.
And do you know whether or not what the final disposition of that matter was?
I know that he was arrested and lodged at the jail. I don't know what happened afterwards.
Thank you, officer. I have no further questions.
You're welcome.
Hold on. Mr. Alapade, do you have any questions of the officer?
Yes, Officer Morgan, do you remember where the premises where you came to meet me?
Yes, sir. I met you at the church on Grace Street, at Grace Temple
Yeah.
Church, I believe it was.
Yes. Do you remember who I was talking to when you met me there, Officer Morgan?
I believe it had been the one of the church members, pastor or something along
He
those
was the
lines.
pastor, yes.
Yep.
Do you remember you telling me that you were just supposed to come and talk to me, but I told you yes, was having a struggle because my wife didn't want me to come and talk to the pastor, and that you can go ahead and arrest me?
I'm sorry, say that again.
I said, do you remember that you told me that my wife said you should just come and talk to me? That I shouldn't be arrested, but I told you yes, we were scuffling because she didn't want me to talk to the pastor or the wife, and that was why we had that confrontation, and that you can go ahead and arrest me.
I remember that we spoke. Yeah, that you were obviously very compliant. I remember your wife did want me to talk to you, and I believe that was the extent of it. She did not want you arrested, if I can recall correctly. And that you were there to speak to the pastor about the incident that occurred, I believe.
Thank you, Officer Morgan.
You're welcome.
Anything else, Ms. McNiff?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Officer Morgan, thank you. You're free to go. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. You as well.
We'll go back to cross-examination of the plaintiff. So, Mr. Alapade, you can continue your examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before we let Shalina, we're talking about the financial situation and the account that you thought was a shared joint account. You mentioned that the account, because it receives the yearly, if any, tax return, it's a joint account. And I asked you if you get half of that. And then you said also that the house received the Ohio monthly payment when we had the house. Is that correct?
Our account, which is documented for our taxes every year on our tax return, has the homestead account on it. That's where it has to be noted for the routing. And it's noted on each one of those. So it was sent to the homestead account. And also,
Oh, sorry.
also the rental of property, which also has, I have documentation from SMHA and Stark County Metropolitan Housing Authority that states that the deposit goes into the homestead account. I said that it was a joint account.
The Ohio account, are you claiming that the house is an income account or just rental? What about all the monthly payment I pay to West Fargo? Because something goes into it doesn't make it a profit.
I'm sorry, I don't really understand the question.
My saying is there are times when the renters pay either by cash app or into the account. But my point is that I use my personal account to pay for the mortgage for that house, West Fargo.
Objection, I don't believe that's a question.
Okay.
Correct. I just wanted to get our understanding there. But
sir, that's a statement. You can ask her a question.
All right, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. Shalina, what's your recollection about the tax debt that we had this past tax year? Did you get anything back or did we owe, and who paid?
I did the paperwork for the house in Ohio every year, except for the year I started working at Albion College and you pressured me to try to get it done. And I couldn't because it was a federal report due. That was the only year I didn't do the paperwork for the housing. I kept all of those records for our accountant who needed it. So I did the paperwork for all of that information, and it's submitted to the to our accountant. And if I didn't record all of the expenses, we would have owed more taxes. So I was asking you for all of the paperwork that was sent your way regarding the house, and you kept telling me, don't worry about it. It's not going to make a difference. And our accountant told us that year that we sold the house, it did make a difference. So we wouldn't have to pay more.
Seriously, Katie Zed, I think that this guy is a tenured professor at Albion College and that she used to work there. Am I wrong? Am I right? I can't remember where he's the professor, but he has tenure somewhere. Also, thank you. I'm going to sneeze again here shortly. I can just, when you can feel it coming and and then your mouse disappears.
More.
Shalina, answer my question. Who paid the debt that we have to refund over $3,000?
It wasn't, I don't think it was $3,000, Ola. We didn't have to pay $3,000.
It's in the tax return is in evidence. You already submitted it.
To the question and
Okay.
answer the
Who
question.
paid?
Yes.
That's what I ask you.
Yes.
It came out of the joint account.
But is your name on that account? How do you consider
Yes, my name is on the account. My name is on
It's
the
not
account.
on it. Do you know we have? Okay.
Hold on, let's wait. Ask the question, give her time to answer, don't interrupt, and then you can ask the next question.
Yes. The checking account, and this is very important in light of the 10,500 that you withdrew when I was leaving the house. Do you have a debit card to that account, or the properties that go to joint account, or do you have any access? Have you ever withdrawn any money, just like you did March 8th last year when you withdrew the 10,003 withdrawal?
Ola, you would give me permission to withdraw or ask me, and even in times when you traveled, to withdraw funds from the account. If there was a debit card, I wasn't given a debit card. My
Thank
name
you.
is on the account.
Yeah, your name was on the, I like that you used the word that gave you permission because I travel a lot. There was a time, the first time I put your name on the checking account, I was going to Morocco for 8 weeks. So I added, just like you added my name to your own Blue Cross, your account. So I gave you access to write the check, but in this instance, when I travel, when you moved out, one, was I aware that you were moving out? And then did I give you any access to go withdraw 10,500?
Ola, the checks from the SMHA could not be deposited into the homestead account if I was not on the account, because that money from SMHA is in my name for the household rental. That's in my name. It cannot be deposited into the homestead account if I'm not on the account.
Salina, please answer my
You
question.
were
I am not saying
you were signing my name on those checks before it was automatic deposit. I set it up for automatic deposit, and that protected you.
Are you saying I'm doing anything illegal?
You did. You were signing my name and depositing the checks into the homestead account. I set it up for automatic deposit, but those checks came in my name.
But that is the only account I have. And I'm the one that pays West Vago, the mortgage.
Objection,
that is-
no question here.
Yeah, ask a question, sir. Don't
All right.
make any testimony at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor. And in light of the finances, what is the relationship between you and the first renter, our renter person that we had, Amber? Shalina, can you tell the court what is the relationship between you and Amber?
I knew.
Ooh, we're getting the tea. Oh shit. I'm excited to hear. Finally getting to some fucking nitty gritty. What? She had something with the renter or the foster something or other?
Amber's grandmother was my 4-H advisor when I was younger, and she became a mentor of mine. So Amber is her granddaughter. That's how I know Amber. I've known Amber, and it just was coincidence that she was looking for a place to live and went through SMHA to apply. I did not seek her out. And not only that, she rented that house out from 2006 until, I think it was for 12 years. The reason why she moved out is because you got on the phone and started hollering at her, going off on her, and she decided to move.
Thank you.
That
was the reason I asked that question. And because I wanted to address that issue of you saying I hollered at her. Two things. When she rented, I said I wanted to address the issue that you said I shouted at her. That was why she moved. One, when she rented the house, how many bedrooms is the house, Shalina?
When she rented the house, SMHA's requirement is that, it's based on how many children you have. At the time when she rented the house, she only had one child. It was a 3-bedroom house, and the house is set empty, so we needed some income to help cover that expense. She moved in there. She only had a 2-bedroom, a voucher. We accepted that. As she was living in the house, she ended up having another child. I put in a request to ask for more income because she required that additional bedroom. They did not grant us that. And I did try, but they didn't grant it. But there was...
Your Honor, I'm struggling with the relevance of this line of questioning.
Because I wanted to address the finances of the house, why we fight. She said I shouted at her. That's what I'm going to. The first time we had a fight over, let's change this to 3.
If you can, sir, address it directly. Don't beat around the bush, because what happened with regard to the Ohio house isn't too relevant as it relates to where we're at today.
Yes, the point has to do with how we leaked a lot of income because I was paying the mortgage even when I was in Iowa State.
Okay, I don't need any testimony now. Ask her a question that's relevant.
The question, all right, sir. Shalina, please, to your memory, do you remember what she was doing in the house that blocked the sewer that he paid almost 4,000 twice. What she was doing that she lied to SMHA that she wasn't supposed to do. She got the Section 8 because she wasn't supposed to be working in the house. What is your recollection?
She does hair. So, and she also had, came down with a diagnosis. She had some health issues. So she was working out of the home. But I had in our lease agreement that she wasn't supposed to be working, having a business in the house. Also, she wasn't supposed to have dogs, but you gave her permission to do that because you said she was paying the rent. The SMHA inspector had called us and said, "Do you know that she has a dog in the house? Do you know that your lease agreement says that you're not supposed to have it?" You okayed that. You were okaying things that she wasn't supposed to do. So how can I enforce anything when you were giving her permission to do other things?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask that question so that the court will understand why I was trying to reprimand her about blocking the sewer system twice that I had to spend out-of-pocket money to repair.
Go
The
ahead.
Thank you, sir. The other question was that if my salary account at Homestead is a joint account, are you saying to the court that I prevented you from paying your debt since all my credit card get paid every month and you were not able to, as you claimed?
My salary, based on my salary compared to yours, I paid a higher percentage of my income went into our household, whether it be for the kids, my personal expenses, the house expenses. And even with your own words, you know that I put in things returned back into the house. What it's given to me.
Let's itemize those expenses. Shalina, who pays the mortgage or rent since we met in 1999?
The mortgage came out of the homestead account.
Who pays the property tax and escrow for the house in Ohio and the house here in Michigan?
That came out of the homestead account because remember the money coming in from the rental property also went into the homestead account.
So you are saying that the money coming from from the house doesn't pay the West Fargo the mortgage. We don't hold the house in Ohio. So how is that paying for the escrow here?
The house in Ohio's based on what we owe, it was not, the rent is not comparable to what's here in Michigan. The rent amount, I mean the mortgage amount on that house is nothing compared to here. There was what do you call it? The expense and the income. There was more income coming from the house in Ohio to cover the expenses and also have money into the account, left into the account, Ola.
Your brother, Chip, are you familiar with Chip Capus?
He's my brother.
So where does the money for him to take care of the house come from?
That's what I'm saying. Whenever that's needed, Ola, it goes into that joint account. The money from the SMHA and the rental property, because you had set up Cash App. I didn't even have Cash App at the time. You set up Cash App so that the new tenants, the tenants that you found that neglected, end up neglecting the house. But when they had to pay, they paid through Cash App, and if that money went into it, you kept it as Cash App.
Okay, who pays for the house insurance?
It comes out of the homestead account. Just like in my, just like the groceries and the kids' expenses, lunch money, all come out of the account from the Blue Ox account, which your name is on. So there's expenses that from the house coming out of both of those accounts that went into this house to take care of this house.
You are conflating general account.
Objection argumentative.
Yeah, ask the question, sir. Don't comment on the testimony.
Thank you for your understanding, Your Honor. Who pay for the car insurance, Shalina?
The car insurance comes out of the homestead account.
Which brings me to the issue of Olaide having an accident. In December 3rd, you said that the insurance wrote to her that I took the money. That was the day you went to withdraw the 10,005. Can you remind the court what insurance company we use?
We had just switched over insurance company, Citizens Insurance Company of the Midwest.
So how can the check written to refund for the car accident be written to Olaide if she wasn't the one that insured with the car insurance?
I have a picture of the check and it says pay $3,951.27 cents. And it says to the order of Olabowale Olapade and Olaide Olapade, because you were a co-signer. She was making the payments on the car and you were her co-signer through MCCU and Marshall. So when she had that accident, you didn't want to do the insurance paperwork. And Olaide was in class in school and she was also traveling for indoor track meet. I took care of that, and then the insurance company sent you and Olaide the electronic paperwork that y'all both had to sign off on it. Her name was on the check. She didn't sign it when you deposited it into the homestead. Her signature was not on there, but she was supposed to sign it along with you. And it says Olabowale Olapade and Olaide Olapade. Paid to the order of.
When I deposited it, did I write another check on my name when I was traveling?
You had wrote out a check and asked me to give it to her when she come, because you didn't want Olaide to come all the way from Indiana, and if there was a delay in your flight, that she not be able to pick up the amount and the check. But you had told her that that check came in your name because insurance was in your name.
Thank you.
That wasn't the case.
If that is so, why did you go to cancel that check and write a cashier's check and then additional 3 other checks?
I had canceled that check because I did not want Olaide to be punished and you not give her money for that for the vehicle that she had paid for. I think she had maybe $800
when I already wrote
on
out the check to her.
balance.
Hold on, wait,
I
let her
think
answer.
she had $800 balance on that vehicle, even though it was totaled and she didn't have, and she needed another vehicle to get her.
Why didn't you give her the check? Instead, you canceled that check and withdrew $10,500 from that account? That doesn't make a lot of sense. And also, it sounds like you were the person stopping a lot of things from happening because you felt a certain kind of way. I'm confused, because didn't she say he never paid it, but he wrote a check that you canceled?
Around in school in Indiana. So I had that check canceled so you would not punish her because I moved out. And that was the first thing that was deducted from the balance that was in the homestead account. And I made sure that she had a cashier's check in her name that I was to give her when she came on the 11th, on that Monday.
But Shalina, why do you think I would punish her when I already written the check to her and I called her to come and pick up the check?
Ola, you told her that the check came in your name, that it was written out to you. That was deceitful right there.
Was it? You just read it to the courts.
It says pay to the order of Olabowale Olapade and Olaide Olapade, which means both of y'all have to sign off on the check. The check came in both of y'all's name. The only reason why you're on there is because you are also a co-signer. That's why that's why you had to sign off on the insurance paperwork.
But I'm the one paying for the insurance. I'm the one that insured the cars.
Hold on, sir, just a minute. Can we move on? Court doesn't find this whole issue about the accident and the check to your daughter to be very relevant to these proceedings. So we're spending far too much time on this.
All right. Shalina, health insurance, the issue of health insurance is very important. When I got this job in 2006, what insurance do we do we have from University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee? Are you familiar with Umana?
Your Honor, I'm not sure that the insurance company that they had in 2006 is relevant.
Because she
Yeah.
said that she's the only one that has been insuring. I wanted to put in the context how we discuss her having a job to have an insurance.
Okay,
So it's a
well,
question that will lead me to clarify the muddy waters about insurance.
okay, well, let's be really limited on this stuff because I don't want to go through the insurance for every year that you were married, so.
All right, sir. Shalina, do you recollect our conversation about you? Because when I started in 2006, the insurance was $1,000, I think, Blue Cross Blue Sheet. The college was so happy that I declined it, even giving me $100 every month. And you got an insurance from Community Action. Is that to your recollection?
When we moved here in 2006, I didn't have a job with Community Action. You had declined the insurance for the family, even though we had 2 young kids. Lydie was 5 when we moved here. You declined the insurance, so we had no insurance. When I went to work with Community Action in 2007 and became a full-timer in the summer of 2007 is when we got insurance.
That is what I was saying.
That's when, and they took out it's $300 a month, $150 something every 2 weeks. They took it out of my income. And when I returned to work making $14 an hour, that was taken out of my salary as well. And also I was paying for childcare, which is really expensive for 2 young kids and one not even being in school yet.
But that is very important in light of how I, prioritize healthcare for the kids. Remember when, do you recollect that when I went to Milwaukee, I had an option between Milwaukee and Yale. And why I did not go to Yale was that they only insured me. They did not insure the family. And you were pregnant with Ayo. Is that your recollection in 2024? That was why I did not go to Yale in January, went to Milwaukee in July, 1st of July.
Yale? Is he saying Yale? Am I mishearing that? Is he saying Yale? Is this an online Yale spelled with 2 L's and an apostrophe E or something like that? No offense, but really? You didn't go to Yale because of the insurance? I'm sorry. What? Fucking deal with it.
Because of the insurance.
Oh, no, I don't recall that.
Okay.
I don't recall.
Shalina, when you work for,
because in Iowa, you were in Iowa at the beginning of when you went to
Ma'am, hold on. You said you don't recall. You can leave it at that.
leave it like that, yes.
Long
Okay.
dissertation.
Okay.
Yes. Shalina, if insurance is very important to you, do you recall our conversation when you worked for Albion College in 2022 and the insurance went down from 1,000 to 500 because we were both co-employee?
That's the only, although you've been at Albion College all of these years, you never offered to do it until I was able to get it when I got the position there.
Answer my question. Do you recollect?
I recall that we got insurance when I started working at Albion College, after you've been working there for how many years?
But that is my point, that our discussion that you should keep a job so that you will help the house with the insurance. And when you got the job with Albion College, the insurance went back to half and we all went back on it. Is that your recollection, that the insurance was cheaper because we were both employee of Albion College?
The insurance was cheaper because
Thank you.
us were there.
Thank you. And having said that, I want you to tell the court, was I aware that you were going to leave? Because you talk about the picture and I refused to go take a picture. Did you recollect our fight over you leaving the job and not letting me know, despite all the discussions we had about you keeping that job? Was I aware that you resigned until weeks after from Albion College, where I'm a professor?
No, you knew because they had a 2-month notice. When I submitted that notice, that was after I was left the hospital, where the doctor told me that if my heart enzymes kept increasing, they were going to keep me.
So
And
you
so when I left that hospital, I had to make some decisions. Even my other doctor, Dr. Bakken, had said, Charlene, if you don't make some changes, it's not going to look good for you. So after I got out of that hospital in April, I had to make the decision to resign, but I gave them a 2-month notice. So my last day at Albion College was end of June. So you knew.
so why did you say that if you told me I would be angry that you were on your vacation? Or was that the job you left before that with Nancy?
Ola, that was 2019. That's the year that I was diagnosed with diabetes. That was also later part of that, and I was still working. That later part of that year in August is when I passed out. And then I returned to my doctor and found out that my Graves' disease was out of remission. And so there was some health issues and I was on medicine. There was multiple autoimmune issues. And I did not say anything to you in December because my mom was coming to visit. The kids, you always go on your vacations. There was a time that I was going to use my PTO time. And you had threatened over and over multiple other times that my mom would not be able to come and visit when you got mad at me. So you would ruin the whole vacation for all of us, and even for me, which I needed a vacation.
All right.
And I
Talking
was
about
using
vacation.
my PTO time all the way up until in January of 2020 when I told you. But I ended up having to tell you 2 days prior. The kids were in the car, the boys were in the car, and we were leaving the basketball game, and you were still badgering me. Out of nowhere, you started talking about me working for Nancy. You were complaining about it. For those 3 years, you
Shalina, please answer
complained
my
about
question
me.
so that we
You
don't waste the court's
complained
time.
about me working under Nancy. I had a job there, and you complained because you did not want me working for Nancy, which was our neighbor who invite and friend of the family. I don't know why you had such an issue, but you complained about it.
Talking about trips, Shalina, how many times have you been to Nigeria?
2 times.
How many times have I taken you to Canada?
To Canada. We went when the lady was for our anniversary and 2009. That was right before, a few weeks before 9/11 happened. We were able to get back inside of US. So that was
Mexico.
Come on. You are hailing the Y2K 2001 period? Are we joking? Come on now. This is so irrelevant. He's doing a fairly good job, I have to say, of the questioning, but she is tough to keep on track. He's doing better than McSniff.
in
Mexico.
2001.
It's okay, but you are not denying you've gone on
but
trips.
the Nigeria trips were for your siblings' weddings.
Mexico.
San Diego, we rode a train over. We took the kids to San Diego, and we took a train over to Mexico. It was
New Orleans.
you and I, we took, that was a family trip. And one of those trips, when we went on, Ola, it was part of your research too. So you got reimbursed and the kids helped you. Even in one of the Canada trips, we drove and it was part of your research.
Florida.
Like I said, it was part of your research. We drove down to Florida and we made a vacation out of it. And you got from
Mackinac Island.
Mackinac.
The UP.
Yes.
The Upper Peninsula.
Yeah,
Mackinac.
we went there in October. We drove up there. Again, we used the van. We used the family things that we did.
You are not denying that we take trips.
Although when was the last time? Oops, sorry.
Before COVID. I know the trips I take, you will not disagree that I take trips because of the nature of my job. Every summer I go to do research.
You went to Cancun, you went to like this Colombia trip. You went to Kenya for in May of 2023, but then you went back during my surgery for your vacation trip. You would always go to Nigeria, which, like I said, you needed to be checking up on your parents. Your mommy passed away in 2019. But you went on to Las Vegas. You travel, and to the point where I just don't keep track. But you gone on. There was trips that was non-related to your research that you traveled.
Okay.
And
Let me quickly go through some of these groceries. Is it your contention that you exclusively buy groceries?
Ola, you would buy the African things that for the African dish. Those grocery bills every 2 weeks, myself, Aldi, Save a Lot, Walmart.
I
Those
don't
are
buy I
and
don't buy
some
groceries
Meijer.
at Sam's.
And
Club.
Sam's Club. I go.
Sir, hold on. You can ask questions. You cannot respond to her questions by denying it.
Thank you, sir.
That's when your testimony will come in. You're only here to ask her questions.
Sam's Club. A matter of fact, I was the one who got the membership for Sam's Club. So Sam's Club, Walmart, Save a Lot, Aldi's. Those grocery bills, $300 some for a family of 7, or 3-5. I'm counting.
So it's your position that I do not.
I never said that you didn't buy African food, or you didn't buy. Those are the things you're saying that I don't do, and I'm telling you what I do.
I did not say that. I didn't say you don't. I just said, is it your position that I don't?
I never said that.
All right. Do you have any? Is it your position that I pay for telephone, cable, electric, out isn't gas, air, and in Ohio, even when the house was empty, utilities?
When I said that we had to pay for the house in Ohio, both of our income, because we were taking care of 3 houses.
What do you mean both of our income?
3.
I write the checks for them.
I wrote checks as well, Ola. We had 3 houses, 3 places of living that we had to take care of, and it took both of our income to do that.
Shalina, please, can you tell the court your specialization? Special college education, specialization, and
I have an undergrad degree, individual family consumer studies with emphasis on family, and my master's degree is in early childhood education with focus on preschool. And I had a provisional 4-year license, and then when we got here in Michigan, I had my 5-year professional. I have 5-year professional from Ohio.
Yes, thank you. Would you submit that you can use either of these degrees to work and work effectively? And can you tell the court what would be comparable income for either your first degree or your second degree?
Here in the state of Michigan, when I moved here, I've talked to the Department of Education as well as a staff member from Albion College. And I even have letters to that effect of trying to be grandfathered in here and use my license. I can only get a early childhood endorsement. There's not even the teaching certificate. The state of Michigan said I had to return back to school because Michigan had changed their requirements along with Ohio. And I said, yes, they both changed at the same time. And so I couldn't use my certification from Ohio here in Michigan. I had to return to school. There was no way to be able to return to school. You weren't offering to even help with childcare expenses. I had my student loans to pay back. So my salary here, even working in the field of early childhood education, started out with $14 an hour.
Can you tell the court what was your salary when you worked with Albion College 2 years ago?
$25 an hour.
Give us the per annum. It's on the tax that you.
It's about about 50 or 52,000 a year.
Thank you. All right.
And it was a grant, and it was a grant position. It was a new program.
For 5 years.
Grant position for 5 years. And the first year, I wasn't even there.
Okay. Can you tell the court why you left the job? I recollected that you said people are not doing their jobs.
I had ended up going to the hospital under stress. I had stayed up overnight for 24 hours for something that I should not have. I had a work order to help me with with the data. As you know, Albion College software system for recording student data is in multiple software programs, Banner, and there's another one. Federal government, the software program that we purchased, we were supposed to export that information and import it into the data system that we were supposed to use to report to the federal government. The work order was placed. I started working there in August. I placed that work order for that to happen at the end of October, beginning of November. That work order was still open the day I resigned, the day, my last day at Albion College. That work order was still open, and I ended up making sure the federal report was submitted, but staying up all night, exporting that information from both of those software programs into the system that I had to report to the federal government. Not only that, the
Hey,
final,
hold on a second, ma'am. He asked, why did you resign that position? And you're getting into all sorts of stuff that's not responsive.
okay, that I did not have the support of Albion College for the federal report, the annual federal report, as well as health issues, the stress behind it. And that I ended up in the hospital in April.
Do you recollect the conversation about it? This is in light of you said I am paranoid. Did you recollect that I told you I had to train on Banner, Argos, all the software you are working that will be able to help you? And that if the IT people are stressing you, that they say you should talk to India, that you should talk to the provost, who I am on the same committee with. What was you told me to leave you alone? Was that to your recollection?
No.
All right.
That's not that. No.
It's okay.
Station, I do not. I don't ever recall that kind of.
I did not tell you to talk to Ron, the provost.
No.
I'm on the FPC with.
No, I did follow the protocol that I was supposed to at work, and I did just that. I followed the protocol that I was required to do.
All right. Did you recollect me discussing with you that you need this for retirement, this 5-year renewable for another year? If you work 10 years, you
did not have no conversation like that.
All right. But did you recollect the gift Aki and I picked for you when we went for AAU that you said, I don't know your love language, that I'm just carried away by title when you got this job? That was congratulating because your attorney asked if I give you gift. I bought you a $75 gift. I gave that gift to my sister.
I struggle to understand the
What? He bought a $75 gift that he gave to his sister? First of all, that's nice. $75 is a lot for a gift, but not for your wife forever. Like, again. But then again, she got him, like, what, a charcoal grill? I gotta roll another joint of liquid imagination because my brain is fucking fried listening to this shit. They do have a lot of children. What's terrible is that they're old. They're not even young. They have no chance.
question.
I said, does she recollect our conversation about a gift I gave her after she got the job that she did not use for a year? She was angry. She said I was trying to make fun of her, calling her director.
The gift you gave me was facial cream, chemicals that I don't even use. I use a basic facial wash. That was the gift. It was
You've answered the question. I just wanted you to know why give you gift.
Sir, stop.
All right.
She's trying to answer the question. Don't interrupt her when she's trying to answer.
Thank you.
When she's done, then you can ask another question.
It was a facial cream with chemicals. I use a basic cream for my face. That was the gift. And I don't know if it was because I got the new job or not. The title position, you would just call me the director, and you didn't pay attention to me other times. And you had complaints, like I said, when I worked for Nancy, but then all of a sudden as a director position, you were thrilled about the title director.
All right. before the issue in 2021 when Officer Collins and his colleagues were called, do you recall your church member, Miss Nora Jackson, coming to talk about 401k when I told you to show me to take this job? Nora Jackson, that was the afternoon before the fight. It was in your police report that we were fighting over retirement, 401k. Officer Collins that just came, that incident, I said, do you recall that Miss Jackson, Nora Jackson, I called her to come to the house about this 401k because your pastor's wife also wanted the job.
You called Sister Jackson.
That was the same incident
before. It was not. It was not.
It was the same incident.
Sir, stop. You can't ask a question and not let her answer it.
Sorry, Your Honor.
So ask the question, then be quiet till she finishes the answer.
You called Sister Jackson. It wasn't around that time. It was a few months before that you called Sister Jackson over to the house to talk to me, but it wasn't about no 401k plan. She doesn't know anything about the job. She doesn't know anything. We just have a relationship from the church, and she was at the time youth coordinator. So she worked with our kids, but we didn't have no talk about no 401k or my job.
It was, you recall that you said, why didn't I want to be a department chair? Because there was a program officer. I said you should take the directorship position. You said, why can't I go be department chair myself? You told Mrs. Nora Jackson.
You complained about me and my positions. And I just said, as far as supervising people. And I said, you yourself would not even accept to be a chair of your own department to supervise people. But it's stressful supervising people. I had to supervise on my jobs anywhere between 16 people to 22 people at one time in multiple locations. So when you called Sister Jackson over to talk to me because you were upset with me. So, but we didn't talk about no 401k. We didn't talk about my job.
Well, to my recollection, it was that. And then your pastor's wife, do you recollect she asked me for a job at the education? She also has a master's in education.
I don't know.
And that was when I was going to talk to her in church when we were fighting over the phone. Do you recollect?
I don't recall.
First lady.
I wasn't there when you had a conversation with her or when she had a conversation with you, but it wasn't that you came to the church or so. Maybe I don't know. I wasn't there, so I don't have that know what the conversation was between you and her. I don't know.
So do you recollect when we discussed that you should use the house as your specialization in early childhood for daycare, given the need for daycare services, and you said I was insulting you?
First of all, you said I don't even know if you made a suggestion about daycare. Maybe you said Miss Oswald, I guess, was doing home daycare, and you were saying, why don't I do something like that? I knew our house is not licensed for that, for our safety and enough square footage for them, to meet the requirements. I knew our house did not meet those requirements. And then that your patience with our own kids was not there. So let alone having somebody else's kids in the house, I was concerned about.
Okay, so talking about the patience with our own kids, if I'm impatient, you recollect when Ayo was in the house smoking, closing the door. What did I do? If I'm not patient with the kids, I came back from watching Aki play football. I was sitting beside you, came home, it was smoking in the house upstairs.
You told me that he had a cigarette. He told me that it was somebody at the campus had told him it was what is it? Like it wasn't a real cigarette. And so he was so comfortable enough in believing what they had said that he tried to smoke in the house. You told me that you came home and you smelt it and you talked to him, but you took his things away. You took some things.
I thought you said I wasn't patient with them. Have you ever, you used the word whoop. Have you ever, how many times have you taken my belt to whoop Ayo?
Although when they were little, I give them warnings. I didn't, when they had a spanking, they had a couple licks on their bottoms and they had to bend over and touch their toes. But I didn't come out there
With a belt? Whoop. There it isn't. Not cool.
beating them upside their heads or waking them up, hitting them in their heads. They being awoken to being abused just like I was, where I'm asleep and you hit me. So you did that to them just like you did it to me.
I would like to address that. How many
Well,
times have I
you can ask
come from
questions
upstairs?
about that. You
All
can
right, sir. I do have a
cross-reference your
question.
testimony.
Yes. Shalina, do you recollect sleeping, wearing headphone, watching TV, turning on that mobile heater that will come down and wake you up to turn it off? And how many times did that thing trigger the electricity in the basement? We look for electrician for months. They have to bring Professor Aaron to repair the basement light.
Ola, the heater had tripped it on that plug. And I started plugging it up on the other side, but it tripped it. You got upset, and it's sad to say that that's where I had to go on downstairs and watch TV because you weren't willing to even share the TV upstairs. I had to go in the basement.
So the same thing applicable to the kids. Do you remember that Ayo will have his music on the computer, then sleeping next to my room to go wake him up? Or Akin that will tell to do dishes, that will leave the light on downstairs, that will
Says MPC. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you're so generous today. Thank you so much for your generosity. I love that. I'm screaming both in my mind and a little bit out loud. This testimony is mind numbing.
we'll go wake them up to come and turn up the light. Is that your recollection? Or I just wake them up for no reason?
Yeah, there's times that you would assume that they were talking to somebody or doing something that they didn't do or was accused of, and you would go in there and wake them up.
To round up the financial and the domestic issue, please can you tell the court the college that our daughter Olaide attended starting from 2019?
Indiana Tech in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Do you recollect what the tuition, room and board costs are?
I think it was $1,000 a month because she was a part of the tuition exchange, which Albion College had called, or the HR department called and told us that Indiana Tech, when they called to ask you about if she was going to Albion College, you said no, told them where. They found out that she.
Probably not, Vicky. I know MB, you gotta sleep soon. I will probably keep going for a little while tonight and then not tomorrow and then twice on Sunday. Once for us and once for Jesus.
That was part of the tuition exchange. So it was about $1,000 a month that was the room and board.
All right. So you and Anthony McNiff listed the payment for Ayo Akin to go to on trip. Who paid for the $1,000 a month? Who paid for the room and board for one semester?
For the first couple of semesters, the first couple of years, it was you, but then there was also COVID involved in that. So she was at home taking classes online. That it came out of the Homestead account, I should say. I'm gonna say that. It came out of the Homestead account. But there was time where if you got upset with the lady, I remember, and I had to write out a check for the food block. You decreased the amount that she could use for food. And then you told me that I had to come up with a certain amount, and I did. But I was also making sure I paid their bulk stuff, toiletries and stuff, toilet paper to go to Sam's Club, get all of that stuff, laundry, all of that before every semester. I also paid out, brought gift cards for Aldi's and for Walmart.
Please
to
answer my question,
supplement- To
Shalina.
supplement food. I also did that. So both of us. That's
You
the
said
answer. Both of
came
us.
out from my credit card or of the Homestead account, my checking account?
The tuition and room and board, the expenses for Lady was from both of us. The tuition
You have it-
and also all of the clothes that they needed, the toiletries, the bulk stuff that I had bought for every semester before they went, even the gas and stuff to move them down there. You had told Lady that you wouldn't even move her down there, help her move down there. I'd use the van to help move her down there.
All right. I have evidence that to show that I was using my credit card to pay for the room and board every month for the 3.5, 7 semesters.
She paid for her last semester.
Yes, because I
kicked
was
her out
getting to
the-
that.
You kicked her out of the house, and she ended up at the coldest week. You kicked her out of the house. She had no place to go. She went to her boyfriend's and his parents, and I didn't even know their parents, his parents.
I was getting to the last semester. Is it your recollection that I kicked her out, or I told her to go back to the apartment that I paid for because she insulted me here? The international students are there. She was supposed to be going January 1st for track anyway. So your concept of kicking out or telling somebody to do something is totally different.
She was required to move out of her dorm, and so she had no apartment or dorm to move back to at Indiana Tech. And she could not return until the varsity track team was permitted to come back. So she did not have a place to go.
I thought you said December. I thought that she was at earnings here in Abbey. You said on under oath that she went when I told her to go to the dorm that she was with Erin, with Nancy.
You just told me that you had told her to go back to her apartment.
That's what I told her.
Did not have.
You said under oath that she was at Nancy's with Erin.
She did not have a place to go back to. When she left, I learned she went to Aaron's before she went straight down to her boyfriend's. Aaron also was in college. She was here at Albion. She had a little bit of more time at her dorm. So Lydie was able to stay with Aaron in her dorm because in Albion, she was still allowed to live in her apartment. And that's where she stayed. And then when both of them had to move out, she went to Ohio.
So let's move from Olaide to Ayo. Do you recollect when in 2023, when Ayo was leaving high school, that we want to do the open house? Our discussion that we should not go and pay $800 when we have a house here to do that. What was your response? That's let's use the house. We have a whole house, 3-bedroom, garage. All his friends do all their open house. What did you tell me? Can you share that with the courts? Which started the problem with Ayo?
We did not have enough space for all the people that came to visit, to do the open house at our home. That the amount of people that came for Light Days, we did not have that kind of space. We did not know what the temperature was going to be like, if it was going to be raining. We did not want to invest and have all these people come even from out of town to be in the rain. And we shouldn't treat Ayo different than we treat Olaide.
That was what you told me.
And I went on ahead and saved and put money aside and put the money towards it and everything towards it. Then a couple weeks before the event, you said, "How much is it?" And I said,
remember I gave you $400.
I said, "Whatever you want to put towards it." I didn't even give you a dollar amount because I'd already put the money towards it.
I'm happy that we brought that up. That shows the court how you would not work with me when I want us to live within our limits.
Argumentative.
All right.
That's not a question,
So,
sir.
do you remember that same day, because Ayo was angry, he backed his car into Olaide's outside? And what did I do?
He was not angry. Olaide was in town, and she wasn't used to having a vehicle back there on that side of in the driveway, and he bumped into her. He was not angry.
All right.
He
Do
was,
you remember?
it was his open house. Why was he angry?
I'm really not sure about the relevance of.
No, I'm addressing the impatience with the kids and domestic violence. Anthony McNiff, please let me address these issues. That same day during
Sir,
Ayo's
hold
open
on.
house,
What's the relevance? Explain the relevance first.
because it led to my son leaving the house, the weaponization of my first son. That same day, do you remember that Ayo and Olaide left for other people's open house?
Which day are you referring to?
The same open house when we were supposed to be parking that was looking for them. That my brother and his friends were the one moving things from upstairs in that place we use. Ayo and Olaide left to somebody else's open house. Do you remember? It's yes or no?
No, no.
All right. So do you remember before Ayo moved out, I took all his credit cards, all his bank cards, when he told me the phone I bought him, he wanted to buy a new iPhone. And I said, you are ready for college after he has been admitted to Albion College. What did you say?
What did I say? When
I took his cards that he shouldn't be spending the money that is meant for college.
You talked to him about it.
I said, what was your response?
That you were going to do that. So
you said it wasn't fair that I shouldn't do that to him. You said it in December 3rd that he got angry when I took his cards.
Oh, Ola, the same time that you was kicking Olaide out of the house, you were threatening to kick him out the house.
When you use these phrases, the kids would believe me as the bad guy. When I took his card, when he told me he wanted to go buy a new iPad, and Anthony McNiff, please let me address, you didn't let me submit evidence, and I want to address this issue. When my 17-year-old son said he wanted to go buy a new iPad, he has one. He wanted to go buy a new iPhone. I bought everybody phone, including my wife. And I took his card. I said, Ayo, we are getting ready for college.
I don't know where the question is here.
The question is, does she recollect? It's a yes or no, and I will move on.
What's the question again, sir?
Does she recollect when I took Ayo's credit card, debit card, so that it doesn't spend the money in the savings?
Okay. What's the relevance of taking his credit cards away?
Because that was what led to him leaving the house when I traveled. Ayo left the house exactly a year before Shalila moved out of the house in anger.
Sir, it's not relevant as to when he left, why he left, who told him to leave. The court's not going to make a decision based upon the circumstances of him leaving the house or not leaving the house. So move on.
But Your Honor, does he fall under
Move on, sir.
All right. Shalina, do you remember that Ayo was already admitted to Albion College?
He received a letter that he was accepted into Albion College.
Thank you. Shalina, please, can you tell the court, or do you know, was I informed when the preparation for him to move to Grand Rapids? Was I part of the conversation?
Your Honor, again, this child is an adult, and
but it's a witness list. It's part of what caused the problem.
How is it relevant to the issues the court has to decide?
Your Honor, the plaintiff said I was abusive.
Okay, then ask her about the direct abuse then.
That's
not about who somebody's moving to Grand Rapids or moving somewhere else.
Your Honor, that was what I'm getting to, because the last arrest was due to asking for where my son was.
Okay.
I know what I'm talking about. I'm a professor. I was asking, and
He did not. What did he just say? Bruh, you can't say that. He did not. Did he? Is that what he just said? Oh my god. Okay. He did not.
I'm getting to, because the last arrest was due to asking for where my son was.
Okay.
I know what I'm talking about. I'm a professor. I was asking, and the evidence that you wouldn't let me submit said she wouldn't tell me where they were with them.
Ask about the instances of abuse, if that's what you want to get to. I don't care if he moved to Grand Rapids or didn't move to Grand Rapids, or whether he was admitted to Albion College or not. Ask about the specific incident if that's what you want to respond to.
All right. Okay, let me move to the last arrest. Shalina, do you recollect the occurrences? I know on December 3rd, you said your mom had a concussion that fell down. Do you recollect that Olaide came back here to celebrate, and I promised to take her and our youngest Akin to Detroit to a restaurant, and you said I shouldn't. Do you recollect?
No,
All right. Do you recollect when I changed my mind, we called you from Jackson if you wanted to have Kudoba or Chipotle? That was during the period before we came back home that day.
no, you may have had that conversation with them, but I don't recall.
Thank you. Do you recollect when I was telling Olaide to go back, that you said I threw her out that same day before that incident happened? I was trying to tell her that it was too late to drive back to Fort Wayne. And that is usually my nature, that you need to leave now. You need to leave now. It's too late.
I just recall you telling her you need to leave, you need to leave.
Yes. So that, I think, touched on a couple of the issue of the financial situation. Ayo's case, domestic violence. Another thing I really wanted to touch, especially given the time that you spent on the financial issue, was I aware of all these debts until mediation, that you had a $42,000 debt? What did I do when we got married, that I knew about your 14,000 student loan fee? What did we do as a collective?
I paid. You did not pay. You did not offer to pay.
Okay. So, but this 42,000, is it your position that you accrue 42,000 since you were diagnosed with cancer last year, or due to the 2,000, 1,005, 1,004 of the student trip that you highlighted here?
I believe my lawyer and I have pointed that out, what the balance was before and then what the balance after. The balance did accrue some, the interest rate, if you were late on the payments, throughout this last couple of years, the interest rate kept increasing because it was a variable rate.
So finally, just to address this, so is it your position that anything?
A variable rate credit card? Really? Also, yes. I'm often double fisting it.
That comes out of the Homestead Bank account that I closed, and if it was a joint account, what step did you take when I closed that account? The bank told me to close it immediately I got back from Colombia. As the owner of the account, did you take any step to challenge that? Because that account has been closed.
The purpose of the amount that I've taken out was to divide up that account, because as you shared back in June, you were sending money over to Nigeria. In the past, you have said, I can go over there and live comfortably. And 2 weeks prior to you going to Colombia, at that time, I didn't even know that you were going to Colombia. And you told me that things between us would never be the same because I put you in jail twice. So I knew that things were going to get worse for me.
But you didn't answer my question. If it is a joint account, when I got back and the bank told me to close the account, what step have you taken?
I did address it. I said I took out the half. I took out the balance, what was in the account on the 7th. I took and subtracted the amount that you owed Lide, and then from there, the half of that amount. And then in December, when you got out of jail, you went to the homestead account and took out, I think it was $7,000 something and put it into a CD, which I am not on. And so I asked the bank, because that was taken out without even sharing that information with me, and I got half of that. So everything I divided in half. So there was no reason for me to go back and address anything.
No, but you have not answered my question. You are owing 42,000. If it's a joint account, why wasn't that paid? I don't have that kind of debt. Why hasn't it been paid? I am using this to ask you a question. What did I do to prevent you from paying your debt? If you said I had 7,000, I had this from my salary account. If it's a joint account.
Ola, I made payments, what I could pay on the account. So with the money that I took out of the homestead joint account, what I was using, my last payment until I had to do some repairs on the car.
As you can see from my line of questioning, I am refuting your position that we have a joint account. Did we ever have a joint account when we were in Ohio or in Milwaukee? I say I am
Sir,
refuting
how is that relevant to where we're at now or when the?
because we had a
actual-
discussion before we got married that I don't believe in joint accounts. I am just saying, why can you say you have a joint account and then you want me to pay after effect of a loan or debt she incurred? There should be a separation of financial issues. There has never been
You have an opportunity, you'll have an opportunity to argue that. You'll have an
All right.
opportunity to testify to that.
Your Honor, I apologize.
It's not
I don't-
relevant. Hold on. It's not relevant if you had a joint account when you were in Milwaukee or Ohio, et cetera. So move on, please.
All right, my Honor, I'm done with my cross questioning.
You don't have any other questions?
Please, I do, please. Shalina, Anthony McCliffe asked you about taking care of the yard, and you said you do the leaf blowing, the kids do the mowing. So are you aware that I'm the one that does all of this? Except Aki now, and I had a lot of problem with Ayo not even contributing.
No, you got on Io about you accused him for breaking down the lawnmower. So it's not just you, the kids, and myself as well. I mean, you get out there sometimes and get on the lawnmower, but for the most part, the kids and myself.
Who bought the lawnmower, the blower, and everything?
It came out of the homestead account, Ola.
So it is your contention that anything purchased is from the homestead account is
Both of our names are on both of the accounts.
your name is not on the account, Shalina. Do you have any proof your name is on the account? Your name on the check is different from the name on the account. Your name is not on the account.
Sir, that's not a question.
All right. I'm done, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. McNiff, any redirect?
I just have a few.
Redirect and then we're done. I think
Mrs. Alapide, why do you believe that you were joined on that homestead account with your husband?
We had our joint taxes and we had our rental property in Ohio, and we both contributed to house expenses.
Do you know if your name was on the account?
Yes.
And when you withdrew funds from that account, did you have any difficulties with the bank?
None whatsoever, because my name is on the account.
How did you withdraw the funds from the account? Did you use a check or did you just go in and fill out a withdrawal slip?
I went in and talked with the bank manager and explained what I was requesting and requested cashier's checks.
And you had no problems getting those cashier's checks?
None whatsoever.
And your husband mentioned a CD. Did he?
She's on the account then. If her name is on the checks, she is on the account. I don't know why he's under impression that it's not the case, but if she's a signatory on the account, they allowed her to take the money. I worked at a bank for many years, but I also had my identity stolen by somebody at a different bank, and they impersonated me, and the bank failed to do their due diligence. So I understand that banks can do that. But I would assume that if she was able to take that money out of the account, that she's on the account. I don't know.
Was there a CD that he withdrew funds from? Did he withdraw funds from the homestead account and put those funds into a CD before you made that withdrawal?
Yes, there was already an existing CD. And then he had withdrew after he got out of jail in December of 2023, and he withdrew 7,000 and something and added it to the CD, the current CD.
And was that in your joint names or in his sole name?
In his whole name.
And so you withdrew funds then in March of the following year, is that accurate?
March of 2024.
He was in jail in December of 2023, and then in
Yes.
March of 24 was when you withdrew the funds.
Yes,
And did you withdraw one half of the funds from both the CD and the bank account?
no, so the only amount of the CD that I withdrew half of was the amount that he added to the CD in December.
So it was only the funds he took out of your joint account and then added to the CD.
Correct.
And you left the CD,
He has the CD.
the balance of the CD alone.
Yes, I haven't touched the CD.
Your husband asked you why you didn't pay your credit cards out of the joint homestead account. Is there a reason why you didn't take funds out of that homestead account in order to pay your credit card debt?
Again, even though it was a joint account, you have to have permission.
And when you say you had to have permission, are you saying that you were required by your husband to ask
Yes.
permission to use those funds?
Correct.
And what would happen if you asked permission to use those funds?
He would claim, just like he says now, that it doesn't belong to me. And even though we have our taxes and our rental property income going into that account. And then he would also say, like I said, what would you do if you were single? So you just learn not to, I had to take care of what I needed to take care of.
Were your husband and your daughter joint on your daughter's car, or just on the debt for the car?
Say that one more time.
Were your husband and your daughter joint owners of your daughter's car, or just joint on the debt for the car? They
For
both on the title of the car?
No, just the debt. I believe it's just a debt. Because she purchased the Jeep.
When you resigned from Albion College, how many years were left on that grant, if you recall?
3.
And do you know when the grant would end? What year?
2000. At this 2005. So you had to apply for it 2004, which at the time I left, they still hadn't had a grant writer.
So is that job is no longer available?
This is, did I say 2005?
You did.
No, it's not 2005. 2020. It was 2020. I'm going back at 2005. That's when my age of my daughter. So the 2000 to 2005. So yes, it's still in existence because it doesn't expire until this year. Should to be renewed, and I don't know if it's been re-awarded. I don't know that because I'm not there.
Do you agree that your husband offered to help you with your the problems at your Albion College job?
I don't agree. He didn't. That wasn't a conversation. He couldn't do anything. He didn't get me the job, even though he claimed he got me the job. He did not get me the job.
Okay, but did he offer to help you?
No.
Your husband seemed to imply that you would spank the children with a belt. Is that accurate?
Yes, I had when they were younger. That was the couple of swats on the bottom, and again, nowhere else on their body.
I have no further questions.
Thank you. Ma'am, I do, before I turn it back over to Mr. Olapide.
Yes.
To clarify, and because the court has some concern as far as that dividing up, when back in March, approximately March of 2024, you took out half of the money from the homestead account and took that, as you said, you were dividing the account in half, correct?
Correct.
And then I didn't understand on the CD, you said he had a CD, but then you took out half of some other money to make that, again, divide that up as well. Is that correct?
It came out of the checking account because Ola had withdrew back in December.
Okay, hold on. But you said that you took out one half of the CD. So you didn't take out half of the CD, you took out half of the amount of the CD from a checking account?
I, the CD, balance, I didn't touch that balance. What I touched was in December 27th, he took from the checking account $7,134.74. He moved that
Give me the number again, 7,000?
$7,134.74. He moved that out of the checking account on December 27, 2023, and placed it into a CD, into an existing CD. So half of that was should be the 3,567. Is that the half?
Okay, so approximately half of that amount you took out from where?
From the checking account.
What
Because
checking account?
the homestead checking account,
Okay.
because he
That she's not allowed to touch. Remember that one?
moved that money out into a CD that's not in my name in
Okay.
December.
So you took out approximately $3,500 and some dollars from the homestead account because he had removed the other at the end of December, but then you took out approximately what's 10,500 from the homestead later in March or something. Is that correct?
No, on the same day, there was
What's the same day? You said
I apologize. That's
Tell the judge how much you took on, from homestead on the one day.
Friday, March 8th. So Friday, March 8th, there was an amount of 6,000. That's not the total amount. The $6,929.25. And that was broken up into $4,429.25. That was cashier check number
okay,
zero.
now hold on. When you say broken up, that doesn't mean anything to me, okay?
Okay.
I'm trying to discern what you took out and why you took it out
Okay.
and how because you're saying you took out half, but again, when you say there was $6,929.25, but you took out $4,429.25, that's not half of the 69.
No, sir. Okay. So
Maybe if you tell him the total and how you got to that total.
Yes,
Would that be,
yes.
Judge?
Yes.
okay. And then keep in mind that the teller had made a $6.
Okay, I don't care about the teller. I just
Okay.
want to know what you
It's a
took out,
$6
how you
difference.
took it out, what amount that was.
Okay, so it started out, the balance on the checking account on March 7th was $17,809.78.
And balance, that was as of March what?
March 7th.
Wait, and then she took out the money to pay the kid. Then she took out 10,000? That's much more than half.
2024?
2024, correct.
Okay.
Liday's check that I got a cashier's check for was $3,957.27. That Taylor made an error. It was supposed to be $951, but it was $957 is what I got the amount for. That's what the cashier's check was made out to. $3,957.27. So that left a balance in the checking account of $13,852.51. I divided that in half. That meant that I took that balance that was in there of $6,929.25. Then I asked for the cashier check for half of the $7,134.74 that he had taken out of the checking account and put into a CD.
Okay, so you took out half of the checking and half of the CD. So at least with regard to those two matters, you have taken your half then, correct?
Correct. And that's why I didn't have to revisit the checking account.
But if we do that math, that means she drained the entire account. Did she leave no money in that account?
Okay. That's all I was trying to figure out.
Okay.
Just a minute.
New Wordle drop. Judge is getting a new Wordle drop, guys. Sorry for the inconvenience. Take this time to go ahead and make sure that you've hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and thought about how awesome you are. I'm awesome. I am awesome. So are you. Don't forget.
So the amount of the credit cards that you've talked about in this case, there are three credit cards, is that correct?
Correct.
And that is the Blue Ox, the Slate Credit Union, and the Citibank.
Correct.
And those are reflected in Exhibit 8. And what, okay, hold on.
Hold up. Wait a minute. He so listens. I know we joke about it, but I'm never actually questioning it. I know he's always listening and taking copious notes. That's why when he's doing his home, like appearing just
Your
as
Honor,
the head.
So it'd be 6, 7, and 8.
Correct. We did submit a
6,
property.
7, 8, 9, what? Anyways, it's always shaking. It's because he's writing on, I imagine, the same desk that's holding his camera. Anyways. Oh, I hated hearing show your math in school. Me too, wahoo. I failed math. We've talked about it so many times. So many times. And then I got a job working in a bank with real money, and all of a sudden, I was pretty fucking good at that, I'll tell you that. You know what? So what else is funny? At the bank, they were really totally fine with you using a goddamn calculator. In fact, they encouraged it.
Chart as well.
That's fine. I'm just trying to reconcile our testimony with the exhibits.
I understand.
Okay, there it is. I see. Okay, I've got that. You had mentioned that, and I just wanted, as I was going through my notes, you said that the Honda Odyssey, I didn't remember the year you said that was,
2006.
2006.
and you thought that it was approximately worth a couple $100, $200, you said?
Correct.
I don't have anything further. Mr. Olapide, do you have any further questions as a result of either Ms. McNiff's redirect or my questions?
Yes, I do. I think when you mentioned the under accord, it reminded me of a conversation we had. Shalina, do you remember the Mercedes before I traveled? You said I bought the week when you moved out. Remember that I've been trying to replace the car, and I offered if you want the GLK, you said no. I mean, what was your response?
I did not want the Honda, the Mercedes SUV. The expense of that is just too expensive to maintain.
Thank you. When you reported me to my brother 2-3 years because we'll be having problem, remember later I offered to give you $5,000 down payment to replace your car. What was your response? Bumi and Tuji were here.
I told Bumi that I would be punished because you would take the keys away just like you did with the first Mercedes whenever you got upset. So I declined that. And when we went to test drive her car, Bumi told you what I said in my presence. And
When you had the
deny
50,000,
it.
Shalina, was there a reason when you had the $50,000 Albion College job why they couldn't replace your car? Was that my fault?
First of all, it was not a guaranteed grant. It wasn't a guaranteed position. And second of all, the kids had other expenses.
All right. And then the elephant in the room, sorry.
I knew that I couldn't afford to get a new vehicle at the time.
The elephant is the room is the issue of 401k. As a master's holder, do you consider yourself underemployed throughout your 20-something years or what happened to?
I believe this exceeds the scope.
Yeah, it does.
All right, what happened to the?
Sir, hold on. When you can go to basically recross, you cannot ask anything that wasn't gone in until redirect or the court's questioning. So if you bring up other issues, you're barred from that.
All right. So I thought they mentioned about the 401k that they spent in December 3rd. We never went back to it.
Okay.
Oh, Miss Vicky, you're so sweet. I love that, and I so appreciate your comments. Vicky is probably the #1 commenter on the channel, by the way. She is always sure to leave a comment on a video, and I appreciate it so much, Vicky. Thank you so much for your generosity in your words and the $2 you found in the couch. Here, in Canada, we call that a toonie. Love you.
That was not asked on redirect nor the court's questioning. That was asked on direct. You had an opportunity to ask questions on your cross, but you can't go back into everything that's ever been said in the case.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, so you talk about my Range Rover that I bought. Do you recollect how that was paid for? Or is that you think that is from the Homestead account again?
You purchased it after I left, so I don't know how.
On credit?
I don't know
on
how
loan?
you went about it. I don't know.
All right. I just wanted that to be on record, and the record is at the bank. All right. So, do you know how many accounts I have with Homestead Bank, in which you are co-signer in only one?
I have I'm on the checking account.
You are not. You are on the mortgage. There's a checking. There's a mortgage. There's a student loan. There's a CD. The only one account that is there that your name is the mortgage, where we hold 83,000.
Objection, Your Honor.
There's a mortgage. It's not an account.
It's an account.
It's
I get statement every month. I submitted it.
Well, it's not what.
Stop, ma'am. Ms. McNiff was having an objection, I think.
This is argumentative. It's not a question, and it's scope.
It's not, and it wasn't gone into on redirect, so I'm not going to let you bring that up. So,
all right, my last question. So if why do you think I would go report that my money was stolen if you on the account that I reported? The bank told me to go report it to the police station.
Objection, hearsay.
Yeah,
all right, I'm done, Your Honor.
Court will sustain the objection. Anything else?
I'm
sir?
done, Your Honor. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Well, that concludes testimony of the plaintiff. Ms. McNiff, your next witness.
No, Miss McNiff, I can't handle another witness tonight. But I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Thank you so much. I hope you had a nice Friday. I did. It sure ended nice. AKA finally ended. Thank you guys again so much for being here. Remember, no show tomorrow, but 2 on Sunday. And welcome to all the new members. Make sure that you've liked the video and subscribed. It's super duper helpful. And be like Vicky. Leave a comment. It always brightens my day when I wake up in the morning with comments to read. Anyways, remember, do me a favor. Remember that I love you and I'm proud of you. And I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye. I said bye.
Ways down and ready to ride.